Hello everyone, this is Ethan Perry from Loyalty 360, welcoming you to another episode of Leaders in Customer Loyalty. This week we're excited to continue our special news series, Industry Perspectives. Over the next few weeks, you'll hear from some of the leading voices across the loyalty ecosystem as they share their insights on one powerful, thought-provoking question. For this week's episode, we asked, what is the biggest challenge you're seeing in customer loyalty today, and what are your clients and prospects asking about most? The collection of responses are insightful, candid, and highlight the diverse challenges and opportunities brands face as they strive to build lasting, meaningful relationships with their customers. Let's dive in.
Ooh, I would say there's a few that are really big. One, I think people are still underestimating and not really having a concept around what it means to have a data engine and how to leverage that for loyalty more broadly. I think there's a component around AI that's huge. I mean, everyone's talking about AI almost like it's a buzzword and racing for agent to agent, but I don't think a lot of people really understand what it means to have human grade or human level personalization that has to have contextual input. I think the agent to agent's amazing, but I watch where at Kobe we are pioneering agent to agent exists in our world and pioneering at a very differential level what it means to have AI that's driving the experience, but you've got to do it under that lens of human grade, because if you just look at where the market's going, even the way people are starting to wake up and understand what collapsible models look like and the idea that agent to agent can actually drive artificial intelligence into artificial and create a lower outcome, I think there's an understanding there of where that's going in market that's going to highly impact people. I think we're going to have a little bit of a pendulum swing there. And I think a lot of our clients are very unsure of how to deal with AI and looking for people who can give them that expertise. And I would say, the third thing is I think there's a lot of people that are trying to figure out and understand the convergence of CRM and loyalty. I think that's huge. I think some are asking for it and get it, and I think some don't realize it's happening to them and it's painting them very quickly.
Yeah, so the subset of folks that I'm talking to are probably different than most folks. What we do at Kairos is we're a boutique actuarial consulting firm. And we work with loyalty programs to help them do one of two things. One, help them de-risk their points liability, or two, help them prove and improve the ROI of the loyalty program, right? So in a lot of the conversations I'm having, it's either, hey, we don't know how to quantify breakage. The redemptions are coming in way faster than anybody anticipated. We have no idea how much this thing's costing us. Help us de-risk this thing, because we know that, just a couple basis points change in breakage can have massive financial impacts and drive a lot of financial volatility. Help us de-risk this, right? Every single loyalty program has to deal with this liability management problem, right? The accounting rules, right, and regulations say you have to do it, right? So this is definitely a problem that we can help loyalty programs solve. The other side of the question is, what kind of ROI are we getting on this loyalty program, on this, redemption costs and this massive liability? What's the ROI we're getting? How do we prove that to people? And equally important, how do we set up the KPIs so that we can measure that incrementality and then look to optimize that incrementality, right? That's an area where we're sort of uniquely positioned to help people think about ROI, because you really can't understand ROI unless you deeply understand redemption costs, right? Because redemption costs is literally the denominator in the ROI calculation, right? So they really do go hand in hand. And so that's another area of questioning that we get from nearly all of our clients.
So look, a lot of it used to be that a technology would solve their problems. Now you need multiple technologies. They have to integrate. They have to work together. Being able to do all of that at once is a bit of a challenge if you don't have those skills internally. So the bigger companies that can afford a systems integrator, no problem. They'll hire a Deloitte or somebody or an Accenture to come and do that for them. The middle brands struggle with, what do we do? And they end up giving up functionality on their technology in order to make it easy and attributable.
So loyalty for us is a multifaceted orb, right? And if I focus on one area of that, which is in the rewards and recognition space for HR tech companies. So rewards and recognition is really for employees. So if you work at, let's say a Fortune 500 company and all the way down the food chain, there are programs in place that reward employees for doing good things, right? So if you're the employee of the quarter, you might get 1,500 points, right? Or program dollars to spend on things. And what we're seeing is that a lot of those platforms in the HR tech space haven't had experiences, but if you talk to a Gen Z or a millennial, right, about what do you really want, they don't necessarily want a gift card, and they definitely don't want merchandise, right? And so they do want travel experiences, and quite frankly, it's really having these programs that want to get into travel immediately, and then they don't understand it, right? So for us, travel is a unique ecosystem. It's very complicated, and really we're out there educating loyalty people on this is how you can do travel, right? Just because it's done at American Airlines does not mean, you with your 300,000 members or whatever the program size is, get that level of experience, right? And we're also seeing, net new credit cards. There's a lot of new credit card programs that are effectively just doing cash back, and their members are basically wanting travel as a redemption option as well.
So a couple things really stick out that we're noticing directly with our clients or even prospective clients is, that they've collected all of this information, all this data, and they spent all of these years implementing all of these systems. And it appears to me that's not very actionable for a lot of clients. So what they're coming to us is they're saying, we've got all these different APIs that we built out, we've got all these modernized systems, but we're not quite sure what to do with them yet. So it's not really actionable.
Right.
And I think that's where we're putting a lot of focus is, okay, we've got, these wonderful tools, AI, generative AI, agentive AI, all these things that can do incredible things, and you need to leverage that with the data you have, so now you're getting actionable results from what you've collected.
So, what's one of the biggest challenges that I see right now, it's not that clients, our brands are competing with other programs, they're really competing for attention. So people are being constantly flooded with digital, social media, emails, app notifications. So it's not just loyalty programs up against each other, it's actually getting somebody's attention on their phone, right? So clients are really asking us, how do we stay relevant without adding to the noise? And it's not really, it's not about bombarding people with more messages. It's about being more thoughtful and intentional when we reach out. So there's a trend away from just sending lots of stuff and making the interaction count so it means something. So there's really loyalty fatigue, there's reward fatigue, there's now notification fatigue. And the real trick is to design experiences that are more personal, valuable, and worth somebody's time. And you really have to, the way I see it, you have to earn their attention, not just demand it. So that I think is what makes the difference.
I think the biggest challenge in the loyalty industry today is the fierce competition. And personally, it seems no matter where I go, from a gas station, the grocery store, a convenience store, everybody has some type of loyalty program. So, there's the big ones like your credit card and your airline programs, but even the smaller, restaurants, mom and pop shops, they all seem to be putting together some type of loyalty program. Now, they all don't provide the same value that some of the bigger ones can do. But to me, it's just the fierce competition in the space. And I think what that tells us is you really need to learn who are your most valuable customers in your program, and then try to figure out what that behavior is so you can learn from it and obviously target more, similar members to your program.
The biggest challenge that I'm seeing right now that brands aren't even necessarily talking about yet is just taking their program all the way to Bright. And so what I mean by that is that there's no magic bullet usually for these programs. It's like the inclusion and collection of all the benefits and everything that they've got going on. And I think a lot of them are stopping a little bit short of being able to form that true emotional connection. And so they might have the value piece locked down, but they could do a lot in that emotional connection bucket. And so I think what we're trying to work with the brands that we're working with is how do we bring both things to the table? Because if a person feels like there's value in the program and they feel connected, they're gonna give that brand more of their visits, more of their share, more of their spend. The other thing that they are asking about is just converting old technology into the newest stuff. I think there's that old tech combined with convention has a lot of brands kind of fighting in the same space for the same share with the same customers. And if brands had better, more flexible technology, and they also had some sort of a unique spin on their loyalty program that brought their brand strategy to life, that they would capture a bigger segment of that customer bucket that they're trying to target. So I think those two things in particular, one we're kind of bringing and one we're seeing are big right now. Doesn't mean it'll be that way forever, but those are definitely things that we're noticing in the market.
That wraps up this week's episode of Leaders in Customer Loyalty. Thanks for watching, everyone. Join us next week as we continue this conversation and find out from our panel of experts the coolest thing they have done for a client in the past year. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe to the Leaders in Customer Loyalty podcast, follow Loyalty 360 YouTube channel, and sign up for our email newsletters so that you can stay up to date on the latest insights, interviews, and research shaping our industry. Special thanks to all of our contributors from this week's episode: Becky Hill, Points at Work; Brad McDonald with Epsilon; Mary Lucky from Maritz; Len Covello from Engage People; Noel Outlaw from Switchfly; Wendy Culpepper from Kobe; Len Lagunos from Kairos; Max Kenkel from ITA Group; and Dave Andriadakis from Loyalty Juggernaut. We couldn't do it without you. See you all next time.